You are looking at the pool at Evanston Township High School, just north of Chicago, the site for the 1998 IHSA Boys Swimming and Diving Championships. Hello again, everybody. I'm Pete Pranica. My partner on the broadcast today, the swimming coach from Glenbrook South High School, Tim Dowling. And the big story after the preliminary round, the fact that Oak Park River Forest ripped through the preliminaries. They had the best time in 4 different events. They qualified second in a 5th event, and they placed 4 other swimmers in individual competition in today's finals. Now, of course, no points are counted from the preliminaries. It all starts counting with the finals, but right now, the Huskies look awfully good.
Yes, they're seeded to win by 33 points. They've got themselves in a position to win the meet, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans here cheering for them.
And there will be a lot of fans cheering for a couple of teams that would like to overtake the Huskies, but more realistically may be going for second place. Defending state champion St. Charles, they qualified 6 individuals. They also qualified in all 3 relays. And also Marmion Academy, they qualified 6 swimmers, also in all 3 relays, but it's going to be a tough go if they want to overtake Oak Park River Forest.
Yes, Oak Park, they've set themselves up to win this meet. St. Charles and Marmion are going to be fighting for second, and the host school, Evanston, is going to be the big surprise. They're going to be fighting for a team trophy also.
Let's talk about some individuals. The top individual, Tim Berry from Oak Park River Forest. He's the top qualifier this year in the 200 and 500 freestyle. He's the defending champion in the 500 freestyle. He's also key to the Huskies' relay efforts, but there are a couple other swimmers that we have to keep an eye on today.
Right, Tim Carlson from Naperville North. He set a new state record in the 200 individual medley. He's also the top qualifier in the 100-yard butterfly today. Our other swimmer is Andrew Schnell from Marmion Academy. He's also the top qualifier in the 50 and the 100 freestyle. Some great sprint racing.
Should be great racing and great diving all day long. Our first event, the 200-yard medley relay, that's coming up. St. Charles, Oak Park lock horns for the first time at this meet. That's coming up after this. And welcome back to Evanston Township High School, the 1998 IHSA Boys Swimming and Diving Championship. Our first event this afternoon is going to be the 200-yard medley relay. Just a reminder, of course, that there will be 2 races in each event. The first is a consolation final for those who qualified from 7 to 12 in the preliminary round. So we take a look at the Country Company's insurance lane assignments. Lockport Township in lane 1, Champaign Central in 2, Aurora Marmion Academy in 3, New Trier in 4, Lake Forest High School in lane 5, and Naperville North in lane 6. Lane 1 at the top of your screen, and we are about ready for the first race. 200 consolation.
Relax, gentlemen, relax.
A little noise disrupting the start. Starting to get everybody away.
Back to the rafters here at Evanston Township High School.
Mr. Starter.
Okay, the swimmers that are in the consolation heat, those times, no matter how fast they go, cannot be moved up into the finals. So this is still a very important race, especially for the team in lane number 3, which is Marmion. They're fighting for that team trophy, so they need to score at least 7th place just to keep their 14 points.
But right now, New Trier in the lead in lane 4 in the middle of your screen as we go from the backstroke now to the breaststroke, and again the Trevians out in front in lane 4.
That's Justin White. I gave him a very strong lead. He's the #1 backstroker in the meet. Just Jacob Swerson, who is the breaststroker for New Trier, has held them off, but you see Chris Meyer in lane number 2 or 3 from Marmion is gaining on him very quickly.
And coming up on the outside, Lockport Township. And this has become a very even race here as we now head to the butterfly portion. 2 lengths of the pool. The pool is 25 yards in length and all 4 legs 50 yards.
Up at the top is Tom Rapkin in lane 1, trying to keep Lockport in the race, but Ryan Foley from New Trier seems to be hanging in there. We're going to be coming down to the sprinters with Trip McMahon and Matt Jungles in lanes 4 and 3.
Marmion and Mutrier enter the pool for the freestyle portion pretty much in a dead heat.
Matt Jungles gets a slight edge going into the wall. Tripp comes up a little behind him.
Jungles with the final kick from Marmion, stretching to the wall. And Marmion takes it in 137.43. And as you pointed out, Tim, that obviously is a help to them in the team competition. They're one of the top 3 teams in the meet. However, because they're in the consolation round, they cannot place better than 7.
Correct, but those 14 points are very important. Had they dropped down, they would have only gotten 10 points.
Let's take a look at Jungles stroking for the finish.
Going into the turn, they turn about the same, but Matt Jungles gets a slightly better push off, and he comes out ahead. Tripp McMahon is chasing him down, and I thought for a moment here at the finish that I thought Tripp might be able to get his hands on the wall just ahead of Matt. But as you can see, the finish was only 4/100ths of a second apart. A very close finish. Very good race.
Now getting ready for the championship, and this should be a good one. Last year, Oak Park in first, and St. Charles in second. Oak Park River Forest first last year. Here are your country company's lane assignments. Fenwick in lane 1, Homewood Flossmoor in 2, the Saints of St. Charles in 3, Oak Park River Forest in 4, Waubonsee Valley in 5, and Hinsdale Central in lane number 6. These 2 teams finished first and second last year, and they finished first and second in the qualifying yesterday.
Well, all that gets thrown out because this is the race right now. Tim Berry is leading it off for Oak Park. He had a great split yesterday, the fastest of anybody in this heat. So see if he can get his team off.
Berry, arguably one of the best swimmers in the state of Illinois.
Starter.
And we start on the backstroke lane.
They should all be fairly even going into the first turn, but timing the rollover and into the flip is very important. And it looks like Matt Munn's got the best of that turn.
Munn's in from St. Charles, rather, in lane 3.
But Berry chased him down.
Draws even with Oak Park, so as you would expect, the Saints and the Huskies going 1-2 as we head now to the breaststroke.
Dan Knudsen is a slightly faster breaststroker than Nathan Blair, so we should expect to see St. Charles with a slight lead coming in off of this one. Eugene Kim from Homewood Flossmoor in lane number 2 is one of our finalists, so he should bring his team back.
And St. Charles brings to the wall as we now move to the butterfly lane.
Matt Daggett just had a fantastic start, and he's basically caught Shane Wilden at the first 25. Adam Kennedy from Homewood Flossmoor is bringing home on it. It's going to be a 3-team race right down to the end.
So at Homewood Flossmoor into the mix, currently running second. St. Charles in the lead. River Forest falling off just a little bit, and now comes the speed.
Jamie Daggett got off very well. He's opening up a huge lead for this race. He's got half a body length. The state record of 133.30 is well within their reach.
And down to the finish they come. Oak Park will win. 134.46. So about a second and 3/10 off the state record, which is held by Oak Park. But Oak Park and their orange-clad fans, a lot to cheer about after the first event of the afternoon.
That's a huge point swing. That's a 12-point swing from the seeding, with Oak Park moving into first and St. Charles into second. Jamie Daggett in the bottom of your screen had a fantastic start. Going into the turn, he's just barely ahead, but coming out, he's got a full half a body length. You can see his swimsuit is ahead of Stephen North. He's driving down the pool. It wasn't a matter of whether he was going to win or not. It was whether he was going to break the state record. They had a great race all the way through. Great finish. Steve North coming in second, and Bill Zielinski, Homewood Flossmoor, coming in third.
And Waubonsee finishing in fourth, Hinsdale in fifth, and Fenwick finishes in sixth in the championship heat. We'll be taking a look at the 200-yard medley relay awards when we come back on Fox Sports Chicago. Welcome back to Evanston in the 98 IHSA Boys Swimming and Diving Championship. Let's take a look at the 200-yard medley relay. The championship is won an event at a time, and for Oak Park River Forest, this is a great first step.
Oh, it's a great foundation for building their championship. Daggett he came in there very well, did a great job, finished strong. I thought they had a chance at the state record.
But they will take first place. The awards for the 200-yard medley relay are being presented by Art Edstrom, the head boys swimming coach at Deerfield High School. He also serves as president of the Illinois Swimming Association. As you see, the Huskies getting the gold medals. And an awful lot of people wearing orange T-shirts. Oak Park River Forest Swimming. They're making a lot of noise.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how they get in here, because each school only gets a certain number of tickets. They must have been out buying all the extra tickets yesterday.
They've also been buying some makeup as well.
Some makeup, some body paint. Yeah. But that's great. That adds the excitement of the meet.
Tremendous spirit, tremendous excitement here at Evanston Township High School as we gear up now for the 200-yard freestyle swim. And the first of two heats, of course, the consolation swim. These are the gentlemen who finished in places 7 through 12 in qualifying. And here are the country company's lane assignments. Daniel Lloyd of Normal Community High School in 1, Trevor Ford of Pekin in 2, Dan Williams of Hinsdale Central in lane 3, Tom Lockman of Champaign Central in 4, Jared Rummel of Lake Forest High School in lane number 5, and Jacob Wassinger of St. Charles in lane number 6. And that entry in lane 6 was very important for St. Charles, particularly since they did not win the first event.
Well, we'll let the start go. Yes, having Jacob in the bottom heat, he seeded to score only 1 point. Dropping down from first to second cost St. Charles a 12-point swing. Now, that's not a big deal against Oak Park because we're not worried about them, but they really want to win that second-place trophy, so it is a big thing against Marmion Academy. So Jacob needs to really come on strong today.
Dan Williams of Hinsdale Central touches first and makes the turn. He's followed by Daniel Lloyd from Normal. As they continue, once again, the pool 25 yards in length.
Now Daniel Lloyd from Normal, slight lead at the top. It's hard to see Jacob down here at the bottom, but he's hanging in there. He's staying right with the pack. See if he can hang on and put a burst on the last 50 yards.
Lloyd looking strong in lane 1 at the top of your picture as he makes the turn.
Now he's got a nice lead right now, moving up. Jared Rummel from Lake Forest in lane 5 had a good turn. He's starting to catch the field, and we'll see if Daniel Lloyd can hang in there.
Lloyd with an excellent turn, and if he can crank it up with a final kick here, the race is going to be for second place in this heat.
He's starting to be run down, though. Jared Rummel is coming on in lane number 5 from Lake Forest. In fact, Jared's taking the lead at the 150 mark.
And Jacob Wassinger of St. Charles falling behind in lane 6 at the bottom of your screen.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a one-man race. Now, lane number 2, Trevor Ford from Pekin is starting to move. It's going to be a great finish.
Jared Rummel in lane 5 for the bottom of your screen. Very close with Trevor Fort. To the wall they come, and it is Rummel, first place, 1:45.51, as he edges out Dan Williams, 1:45.76 his time. So Jared Rummel, a junior out of Lake Forest High School, will sew up 7th place in this event.
Jared did a great job. He started to take command at the 150 mark. He came off the wall there, built his speed into this turn. He's got a nice lead. It's not a huge lead, but a half a second is huge in a 200-yard race. He seems to be very strong coming in. Actually, lane number 2 faltered a little bit. Lane number 3, Williams, got his hand on the wall second.
Once again, Gerald Rummel is your winner. We now get ready for the championship final. And as we talked about this a little bit earlier, this is essentially two races. Tim Berry, the senior from Oak Park River Forest, he's in a race for the state record of 137.34 held by Eric Marr of Loyola. As we take a look at the lane assignments brought to you by the country companies, Henry Tabensky of Oak Park River Forest in 1, Matt Maudling of Waubonsee in 2, Tim Berry, as we talked about, in 3, Jeff Hall of Peoria Woodruff in 4, Adam Reynolds of Urbana in 5, and Andrew Wells of Fallon in 6. Tim Berry, lane number 3, the one to watch going to the state.
Mr. Starter.
Tim Berry is a story, I know himself. He is a second and a half, 2 seconds away from the state record, but yesterday during the prelims, he just swam a smooth race. As you watch him swim, you think it's very effortless. He's hardly working. But when it comes right down to it, his times are fast enough to qualify in all the events at one time.
He was easily the top qualifier in the sectionals at 1:43.27. You know who was second in the sectionals? Gerald Thrummel.
Jeff Hall in lane number 4. He's going to stay with him for about 100 yards, and then he's going to try to race the rest of the field for second place.
Because right now, Berry in the middle of your screen in lane 3 is extending his lead.
He's extending his lead. He's not on a very good pace. He's a little bit slower than yesterday, so I don't think he's really at record speed. But he's going to win the race fairly handily. Henry Tabensky from Oak Park in lane 1 was a big surprise yesterday, making it into the finals. Matt Maulding, he also came in. He was a finalist last year where he got 5th, so he's trying to move up.
And Jeff Hall, not likely to overtake Berry, but he is doing very well in lane 4, currently in second place, followed by Maulding.
Now Jeff he's a little bit ahead of yesterday's pace, so he's staying right on to his time of 1:42. If he has a strong kick here at the end, he can make a race out of it. But Tim looks almost too strong. He has almost a 2-body length lead, and I don't think they're going to catch him.
A great turn and a great push off the wall. Tim Berry will win this in a cakewalk. Jeff Hall stretching for second as they come to the wall.
And Matt Maulding and Adam Reynolds fighting for third.
Not nearly a state record for Berry, 1:40.17, followed by Hall and Reynolds, the top 3 in the event. So Tim Berry, as you would expect, wins it. Not in state record time, but he does win it. So Oak Park River Forest, 2 events and 2 victories for the Huskies.
I don't know if they can keep up and do all 12. Tim switched from the butterfly event last year where he finished 4th into the 200. Obviously, I think that was a smart move, looking at the lead that he's got going into this state championship. Big points for the team, 16 points for first place. Not a state record, but still a great swim.
The interesting thing about Tim Berry is that supposedly the 200 is not his best event. He's better in the 500.
Yeah, we're going to see him a little later, and I think we're going to see some fireworks there.
We will come up and take a look at the 200-yard freestyle awards, and then the individual medley, 200 yards in distance, after this. Welcome back to Evanston Township High School. We have just gotten through the 200-yard freestyle, and a wonderful performance by Tim Berry.
Tim had a great race. You know, he might be a little disappointed he didn't quite set the state record. Yeah, he's looking up at the clock to see what his time was. You know, he's a little disappointed, but he did get first place. And there we have Eric Maurer. Eric is the man who holds that state record in the 200-yard freestyle, set about 1986. He swam at Loyola Academy.
And Tim Berry gets his medal from Charles McCarthy. He's from Orland Park, the coordinator of officials who serves the IHSA as a rules interpreter for boys and girls swimming. Tim Berry, the first medal today, individually, had one earlier as part of the relay. And so now we clear the deck and we move on to the 200-yard individual medley. And we begin with the consolation finals. Once again, these are the gentlemen who finished in places 7 through 12 after qualifying. The lane assignments brought to you by the Country Company's Insurance. Brad Mason in lane 1 of Fenwick. John Nielsen in lane 2 of Barrington. From Naperville Central in lane 3, Mike Regali. Mike Glenn of Fremd in lane 4. Eric Troutvetter of Hinsdale South in lane 5. Jonathan Eck from Lake Forest High School is in lane 6, and he will be at the bottom of your screen. This is kind of an Ironman race. Butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and the freestyle sprint for home.
This is an important race for a lot of kids because it makes them an all-around swimmer. They have to work hard at all 4 strokes to be a great IMA. The butterfly, you start off, you're exerting all of your energy, and then you've got to come back another 150 yards of tough strokes. Usually the downfall for most of these kids is the breaststroke.
John Nielsen overtook Mike Regali. Nielsen in lane 2 as now we move to the backstroke.
Mark Glenn, whose famous brother Jay was a backstroke state record holder, he also is a backstroker, so he's moving out a little bit in lane number 4. The blind turn, they get to roll over, look for the walls. They turn a little early, they end up just floating there though. A race like this, the lead changes hands many times.
Glenn with a slight lead in lane 4 as they make the turn and make the transition to the breaststroke. He gets a good push off the wall, does Glenn.
Looks like lane number 2, John Nielsen from Barrington, is starting to pick it up on the breaststroke.
Also Mike Regali in lane 3 picking up the pace a little bit as they make the turn.
Mark Glenn with a slight lead. John Nielsen and Mike Regali starting to close just a little bit. This last length, it's going to be an all-out sprint. Whoever gets off the wall first might be able to hold on.
Glenn touches first and makes a transition to freestyle and an excellent turn and a great push off the wall.
Mark is opening up his lead. I think he's set for this race. He's going into the turn with a good almost body and a half, 2 body length lead. Lane number 2, John Nielsen is closing in on second.
But it's Mark Glenn, the junior from Fremd, who's putting distance between himself and the field, although Nielsen making the bid in lane 2. They come to the wall, and Glenn will touch first.
Jonathan Eck in lane 6 from Lake Forest slipped into third.
So Mark Glenn really built his lead on the backstroke and was able to hold it throughout and really turned on the burners in the freestyle, and he comes home to win the consolation heat.
Absolutely, and that's what we're going to be seeing in the next race. See if Justin Nawada can build the lead and hold on against Tim Carlson.
Tim Carlson, who will be taking to the pool in a moment, broke his own state record of 151 in this event. And he will be in the middle of the pool as we get ready for the championship finals. But let's take a look at the consolation finals as they make the turn and head for home. Mark Glenn, the junior from Fremd, the man to beat.
You know, Mark, a lot of swimmers trained by circle swimming, and he just saw going in and out of that wall, Mark was swimming directly over the center of the line. The shortest distance between 2 points, a straight line. He saves himself a lot of extra work by going down the middle.
It's not the championship final, but he pumps his fist, very excited. Now we move to the championship finals and the country company's lane assignments. Aaron McCracken of Naperville Central in lane 1, Chris Meyer of Marmion in 2, Tim Carlson, the state record holder of Naperville North in 3, Justin Nawadi of New Trier in 4, Dave Kimmerly of Lockport in 5, Mark Cinder, champion of the championship.
As we've mentioned, Tim Carlson in lane number 3 is the state record holder. But what you're going to see is Justin Nawida in lane number 4. Justin is a butterflyer and a backstroker. He should have a lead at the end of 100 yards, and then we're going to see what Tim Carlson can do with the breaststroke.
Nawadi's lead is there, but now it's eclipsed by Carlson as Carlson at the wall as they make the turn for the backstroke.
Make the turn. Justin is the #1 qualifier in the backstroke, but Tim Carlson is making a shambles of this race. We know he's a great breaststroker, and if he holds this lead, he's going to run away and hide.
Nawadi almost got out of his lane there. He came very, very close to the ropes, and again, he's moving toward the side of his lane as Carlson doing well in the backstroke.
Well, I know I know Tim was saying that once he broke his state record, his next goal was to try to go under 150. He's 1/2 a second ahead of yesterday, and that's exactly the space between that and going 149.9.
Right now, Carlson's got it stuck on automatic. His breaststroke, the first half of the breaststroke leg, looking very good. An excellent turn as he puts some more distance between himself and Justin Nowati.
What we're forgetting is the rest of these swimmers are putting on a great race. Tim Carlson is just destroying the field. He's a full 1.5 seconds ahead of yesterday's time. He is on a state record pace and the 149 pace.
Chris Meyer and Justin Nowati just window dressing now as Tim Carlson will take a victory lap here as he brings it home in the freestyle.
Chris Meyer and Justin Nowati fighting it out. But I tell you, this race is all with Tim Carlson. The fans are on him. 149.99, no.
150.76. He missed it by 0.2 of a second, but what a race by Tim Carlson of Naperville North.
He did a great job. He went out fast. He challenged himself going out for the record. He just didn't have it at the end. What a great race.
Justin Nowati at 152.81 comes in second. And actually, we have a dead heat between he and Chris Meyer of Marmion.
Okay, Tim is doing a great job, but you can see he's starting to labor a little bit. He's taking a little bit longer to get that air. He really worked hard the first 150 yards, and he gave himself a chance, which is all that you could ask as a coach. He gave himself a chance.
He gave a quick peek to the scoreboard to see if he got it, realized that he just didn't, but it's still his record, and it's his state championship medal. All right, coming up, the 50-yard freestyle. It's fast, it's furious, it's exciting, and it's coming up next. Exciting 200-yard individual medley action here at Evanston Township High School. A friend showing their school spirit, the Vikings, but it was Tim Carlson who dominated this event, and a great turn set it all up.
Well, that was the surprising part. I expected Justin Nowati to be much closer at that point. Tim Carlson just blew everybody away in the butterfly and back, but he sort of fell apart at the freestyle. Of course, if you fall apart and win by 2 body lengths, it's not bad.
So Tim Carlson of Naperville North is your champion. Presenting the medals, Denise Caniglio, the head girls swimming coach at Cronin High School in Hoffman Estates. There's your man, Tim Carlson. A great race, state record yesterday, and a state champion today.
I think if we go back and look at the records, we'll find that, and I'm guessing, but over 90% of our state records are set in the prelims, because that's where the kids are jacked up the most.
So again, we clear the decks, and we move on to our 4th event of the meet, the 50-yard freestyle. 2 lengths of the pool, up and back. The consolation finals. Lane assignments brought to you by the Country Companies Insurance. Justin Mathias of Mundelein in 1, Jim Larrick of Fenwick in 2, Jeff Ross of Hinsdale Central in 3, Clinton McHugh of Fremd in 4, Joe Kelly of Mount Prospect in lane 5, and Patrick Kennedy of Loyola is in lane number 6.
Now, last night, after everybody went home, 3 boys had a swim off for about 45 minutes after the last event. Jamie Daggett, Jeff Ross, and Chris Camp had to sit around, and unfortunately, one of them had to lose, and Jeff Ross finished 3rd, so he got the 7th place seed in this meet.
To analyze about this race, it is pure speed.
It's pure speed. There's 2 major points. One is streamlining your start, streamlining your turns.
Starter.
Getting the water clean and getting up fast and getting off the wall fast. Those are the 2 keys. Everybody's got the strength in between.
Jeff Ross looking good in lane 3 as he makes the turn.
Lane number 6 down at the bottom of our screen. Patrick Kennedy from Loyola is challenging now.
Ross maintains his lead and comes to the wall first in 21:63. He's followed by Jim Larrick in second, McHugh in third, Matthias in fourth, Kennedy in fifth, and Joe Kelly of Mount Prospect coming up in sixth. The winning time for Ross, 21:63.
Now Ross got a nice lead. Kennedy at the bottom had a nice turn. Somehow he faded, but at the top, Ross is going well. He got a nice turn. If he had done that time yesterday, either of the two times, either in the regular or the swim-off, he would have been in the championship heat. But that's the way it goes.
He'll have to settle for seventh place, and so we move on to the championship finals in the 50-yard freestyle competition. Here are your lane assignments brought to you by the Country Companies. Chris Camp of Eureka in 1, Anders Holm of Evanston in 2, Andrew Schnell, he's one to watch, from Marmion in 3, Adam Kennedy of Homewood Flossmoor in 4, Tim Widener of Mount Prospect in 5, and Jamie Daggett, a speed burner from Oak Park River Forest in lane 6. And Andrew Schnell, just a sophomore.
Well, this race is so close that it's a start and a turn, and I think what you're going to see with Andrew Schnell, he'll be the last one off the blocks and quite possibly the last one in the water. But by the time they reach the turn, he'll be right there.
Mr. Starter.
Andrew's the last one to come up, but he's so strong that by the time they get to the wall at the other end, he's caught him. Adam Kennedy from Homewood Flossmoor beat him into the wall.
Chris Camp in 1 making a strong bid as they come to the wall. Anybody's race, and in the middle of the pool, it is Kennedy touching first in 21:18.
At the bottom, Jamie Daggett is following up with what he did on the medley relay, pulling in third.
And Anders Holm finishes second. So again, Kennedy is first, Holm second, Daggett is third. So more points for Oak Park River Forest.
Okay, Schnell goes into the turn right behind Kennedy. Schnell does hang on for second place. But as you see him coming back, what you don't see is Jamie Daggett down at the bottom. He's gaining on him. Adam Kennedy's a little bit taller. Now you get to see Daggett coming in. Anders Holm, he had fifth. Fourth was Camp at the top of your screen.
So Kennedy wins it in 21:18. The state record is 20:26, so that does not fall in the 50-yard freestyle. Coming up, we'll reset the pool. We change from swimming to diving. That's coming up next on Fox Sports Chicago. And welcome back to Evanston, the IHSA Boys Swimming and Diving Championship from Evanston Township High School. Great excitement so far. Oak Park River Forest, according to form, they are doing quite well. Some great races, and coming up shortly, we will be heading for the diving portion of our program.
And this is the conclusion of the 50 freestyle, where Adam Kennedy won, followed very close by Andy Schnell and Daggett down there at the bottom.
Adam Kennedy, the senior from Homewood Flossmoor, accepting his champion from William Murphy, the boys swimming coach at Brother Rice High School in Chicago. That's what it's all about, the chance to go to the top step, a medal around your neck, and a big smile. Judges are in place for the diving finals.
Yeah, Robert is doing a pinwheel dive in cut position, one of his voluntary dives.
Good dive, simple dive, clean
Simple
entry.
dive, very good dive. The judges' awards were 6s and 6.5s. With 7 judges, the 2 highest scores and the 2 lowest scores are thrown out, and they multiply the remaining 3 by the degree of difficulty.
Next up, Giovanni Rizzo of Naperville Central.
Hey, Giovanni is in 3rd place going into this round, 279 points. He's doing a forward 1 1/2 somersault with 1 twist in the free position. He's also doing this as one of his voluntary dives. Beautiful dive. Johnny Adirona did very well. The crowd loved it.
He got off the board, I thought, very well.
Yes, he did. He stayed with the board. He got a good height out of it, and his entry was very clean.
Marks forthcoming on that dive.
Well, maybe. There. 5.5s and 6s. Very good scores. The fans didn't like it.
No, I think Giovanni perhaps
Oh, they've got the wrong score up there on the board.
Okay.
That's why everybody's confused. They have the wrong diver.
Well, let's wait for the second set of marks as the officials sort this out.
Now, this is not ice dancing where they do it twice. There we go. Now we have the DD correctly at 1.8. The judges' scores should remain the same.
The fans from Naperville Central would like for them to be a little bit more.
There you go.
And again, they are exactly as you suggested, 5.5, 6s, and 6.5s.
Johnny, he finished 8th last year. He is one of 5 divers in this competition who medaled last year.
12 divers in the championship finals. They will go through a program of 3 dives. This is Seth Bradley. He's a junior from Richwoods High School in Peoria.
Forward dive, 1/2 twist in a straight position. Very nice dive.
And he hit it very well.
The judges judge him until he hits the water. They're not supposed to look underneath. You'll see a lot of divers when they go under. They'll save a little bit, but he did okay. 4.5s were his average scores. He was in 11th place going into that dive.
Greg Helen now to the board, a junior out of Libertyville. One of the favorites in this competition.
Greg is in 1st place. It's a forward dive, pike position.
Very nice dive. Took it away from the board a little bit, but a clean entry, and I think the judges will like it.
Very effortless, and 6, 6.5, 6, 5, 6, 5.5, and a 5.
Yes, Greg was 7th last year. He's our highest returning medalist, and he's leading this competition.
Greg Garantano of Lyons High School in the
Forward dive, pike, same dive.
He leads in an open position. He's in closer to the board, and a very clean dive.
And excellent scores at 7.5, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6, and 7.
Yes. Judges like that. They compared the 2. Jarrett Lavisser from Rockford Guilford. He is 5th coming into this final round of diving.
A forward dive, 1/2 twist in a straight position.
Little bit of arch in the back.
Little arch in the back, but that's okay on the twist. He was a little bit short going in from our perspective, but the judges may or may not have seen it. 5.5s were his average scores.
The degree of difficulty on that dive, 1.8.
Okay, Jeff Thu,
Senior from Rockton, Illinois.
Back 1 1/2 somersault, 1/2 twist. So he's going to end up facing away from the board. He's using this as voluntary dive. 1.8.
very nice dive.
See if the judges, marks ranging from 5 to a low of 3.5, but of course the 2 highest, 2 lowest get thrown out, multiplied by the degree of difficulty, and that gives you the score. Jake Dorsey from
Centennial High School in Champaign. He is a junior.
This is a reverse dive in straight position.
That hung up a little bit at the top, little stuck.
A little back arch, and his feet also became separated at the top, and the judges note that with 4s, 4.5s, some 3.5s, and a 3 thrown in. So a tough dive. He will come back on his succeeding 2, I'm sure. Pat Collins, his classmate at Champaign Centennial, now on the board. He stands 7th in the competition.
Now Pat's doing a reverse 1 1/2 with 1.5 twists.
A difficult dive, 2.6 degree of difficulty.
A very difficult dive. As you might have seen, when he hit the water, he tucked up into a little ball to try to save the ball, the dive from washing over.
High of 5.5, low of 3.5, 4s and 4.5s populating the middle ground, so that will be his score. Brian Hoke of Fremd. He is a junior and he enters the finals in 8th place.
A forward dive, 1/2 twist.
Pretty clean dive. Looked a little late getting into it. This panel of judges is made up of 4 coaches and 3 officials, and they threw them scores of about 5.5 in the middle.
Consistent scoring throughout with 5.5s to a low of 4.5. Adam Hanhart, a senior from Glenbrook North, currently in 2nd place, also one of the favorites in this competition.
Back 1.5 somersault, 1/2 twist free.
Excellent dive.
He stopped that in midair and toe point. I think the judges are going to like that.
And they respond with scores with a low of 5.5, high of 6.5, several of those, and a couple of 6s thrown in for good measure. So a good dive for Adam Hanhart. Dave Leiker, junior from Estates.
He's doing his reverse dive straight, 1.8. He's in 12th place right now. He was 12th last year.
And a good dive there, very effortless.
Very nice. He got straight up in the air, held his position, and waited for his body to roll down.
Low of 5 and a high of 6.5, 5.5, and 6s populating the middle ground on that dive for Dave Leiker. And that concludes the first round of diving here in the championship finals. So we go back to Robert Hirschfeld, the senior from Marmion Academy.
Rob is doing an inward 1 1/2 somersault break, 2.4. Rob is the only competitor of the 3 top teams in the diving finals, so these are all bonus points now for Marmion Academy.
Difficulty 2.4, but he dove very, very well there.
He was back a little bit, maybe just a little bit low, but I think the judges should give him pretty decent scores.
A couple of 7s, some 6s, a 6.5. So the 2 7s will go out, but 6s and 6.5s will stay. And that effort rewarded with a lot of cheers, as well it should be. Okay, Giovanni Rizzo returns for Naperville Central for his 2nd dive.
This is a reverse 1.5, 1.5 twist in the free position. Very difficult dive.
And he did that very well. He got off the board well.
Yeah, he looked like he over-twisted just a little bit going in the water, but he had great top on it. 4.5s, yeah, looks like the judges may have seen it over-twist. The fans don't see when it goes that fast.
And Giovanni clearly has a lot of fans here. They weren't
Yes.
happy with the marks for the first dive, and they're not happy with the marks here for the 2nd. Seth Bradley, junior out of Peoria Richwoods.
This is his forward 1 somersault, 1 twist free. Degree of difficulty only 1.9.
Looked like he buckled his knees just a little bit on the takeoff, got it around without too many problems. 4.5 scores in the middle.
Exactly that. 2 4s, everything else a 4.5, and a panel of 7 judges. The degree of difficulty is 1.9 on that dive. Here's Greg Helland, the leader entering the championship round.
Greg, a forward 2 1/2 somersault in a tough position.
That was a little low and didn't get off the board that well.
The degree of difficulty on that dive, 2.4, and the score is very, very low. 3.5, 3 4s, and a 4.5 thrown in there for good measure. So disappointing dive that time for Greg Helland.
He came up out of the water as if something was wrong. I wonder if something disturbed him. Back 1 somersault, 1 1/2 twists. Reposition.
Very difficult dives. Turning around backwards and then trying to land it on your feet. Most divers fall over.
Degree of difficulty on that one, 2.3. Scores a high of 6, 5.5, and a low of 4.5. 2 of those, and those, of course, will get thrown out. Jared Levancer.
Jarrett, a forward 2 1/2 somersault tuck.
Very nice dive. He gets up in the air very well, spins, and has plenty of time for his entry. His long legs make it look like he went further, had much more time to open up.
Crowd liked it. Judges give it a couple of 6s, and everything else a 5.5.
As you can see, when he's up in the air, he's up pretty high, and because he's such long legs, when he kicks up, it looks like he's dropping further into the water than he is.
Come back with Jeff Few from Rockton, Illinois.
Reverse 1 1/2.
Talk about high. What? He got up there. Almost too high.
And it seemed that his feet separated at the top of the dive also.
Yeah, it looked like he got up so high in the air that he just lost where he was. Maybe he wasn't used to being that high.
4s and a couple of 3.5s. So a tough dive for Jeff Few. Jake Dorsey.
Okay, he's doing a back 1 1/2 somersault with 1 1/2 twist free, 2.5 difficulty. Pretty difficult dive. He was 4th coming into the competition. He's holding his position pretty well.
Looked like a pretty good dive. He's out a little bit, but he's still right in the middle range of the judges.
And everything comes up 5s. There's 1 4 thrown in there. Let's take another look.
As he takes off, he seems like he loses his head. It goes back first, and that rolls the shoulder into the twist, which keeps him low. So he's a little low going into the water. His teammate, Pat Collins, is doing an inward dive in the pike position, going from the difficult to the easy.
Making it look easy.
Making it look easy. Got up nice and high. It looked like he might have twisted a little bit going in the water, but I guess the judges didn't have the same angle we had.
Well, let's take another look at it, see if we see what the judges saw. As they awarded it 6.5s and a couple of 5.5s.
Nope, no twist. The judges saw it right.
Ryan Hoke, reverse 1 1/2 somersault tuck.
Got away from the board a little bit, and his legs separated at the top.
Yeah, he sort of lost it. He bellied it out a little bit at the beginning, so he's going to be a little low.
And the scores reflect that, 4.5s and 5s, the rule. Adam Hanhart, who entered the competition second, now on the board.
He's doing a forward 1 1/2 somersault with 1 twist. One of Adam's better dives.
He looked a little short going in, but he really saved it well.
Degree of difficulty on that one,
There you go.
2.2, and you get
like that.
3 7s go up on the board, a 6.5, a pair of 6s, and a 5.5.
He had a great takeoff. He's a little back on the board, but he's such a strong diver that he gets up very well. He's up above the board. When he finishes his dive, he looked just a little short on the angle going in, and we can see the pike as he's going under.
Dave Lykar from Hoffman Estates.
Reverse 1 1/2 somersault pike.
Little bit short. David got up okay. He sort of lost his legs on the way up, so a little bit of a bend, and he's spinning a little slow, so he was a little bit too low for when he hit the water.
A trio of 4s, a trio of 4.5s, and a 5. So we go now to the final dive for each of 12 competitors. Robert Hirschfeld from Marmion Academy. Big dive for him and for the Academy as far as team standings are concerned.
He's finishing up with a forward 1 1/2 somersault, 1 twist, and a free position. Degree of difficulty 2.2.
Well, his teammates loved it.
Let's see if the judges do 5.5, 6s, and 1 6.5.
Very nice scores. He got his twist in. He seemed to have got his twist a little bit early, sort of a gymnastics twist. Right, he starts up, he's twisted before he starts his somersault, but he gets it around with no problem.
Giovanni Rizzo on the board.
This is the 1 1/2 somersault in the pike position. This is usually one of his better dives. He gets off the board very well.
Crowd loved it.
The crowd loved
board
it.
well.
He got off the board, he gets tremendous lift. Great scores.
7.5, 6.5, 7, 7, 7, 7, and 7.5. Let's take another look at an outstanding dive.
The press is tremendous. His hips are still going up as he finishes his first somersault. Plenty of time to line it up and put it in.
Great looking dive and all the way to the bottom. And a 2.4 degree of difficulty, so not an easy dive by
No, not at all.
Seth Bradley from Peoria Richwoods.
Seth is doing a forward 2 1/2 somersault in the tuck position. Degree of difficulty is 2.4.
Came up a bit short.
Came up a bit short. He had a nice dive. He just didn't quite get as much height as he needs.
And the scores on the low side, 3.5, a 4, and a 4.5. And you can see in his face, he is a little disappointed.
Not yet. Seth Bradley did a great job. He's only a junior, so I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of him next year.
And on the board, he was the top qualifier after the sectionals.
Okay, Greg Helen, back 1 1/2 somersault, 1 1/2 twist in the free position, 2.5, a pretty difficult dive.
He finished 7th here at state last year. And the board lights up with the marks.
It was a good dive. He was just a little bit low. He didn't get as high as he needed to, so when he finished his dive, he was pretty low, pretty close to the level of the board. You can see his feet are way below the board when he's kicking up, and so therefore the judges are seeing that low entry.
5 is the dominant mark there. Greg Girontano.
Back 1 1/2 twist, 2.5.
Four and a half. 4.5s across the board, 6 out of 7 marks, 4.5, 1 5 thrown in there.
He's pretty happy to finish here in the top 12.
Jared Levasseur.
Back 1 1/2 somersault with just 1/2 twist, free position, 2.1. A little bit easier dive.
It seems like the judges are looking for a little more. It was okay, it was a good dive, but it seemed like he got into the twisting a little early, somersault and twisting. He's rolling off into it. It was a good dive, but it was just a good dive. Score of 5.
Jeff Few, senior.
He's doing a back 1 somersault with 1 1/2 twist. This is tough. He's going to try to land this on his feet.
the board fairly well.
Got off the board, good twist. It's a very difficult dive to stop twisting. He did a nice job, and he stood it up straight.
The marks come up on the board, all 5.5s except for 1.50.
As he's coming down, he's got to make sure that right shoulder stops the rotation. He wants to keep going, but he held it in line. Nice job.
Jake Dorsey now on the board.
His reverse 1.5 somersault pike. Very good TD dive for him. Could move him up if he does a nice dive.
Got good height off the board, little arch of the back.
Little arch of the back. The judges will note that, but they also note that he got a good dive out of it.
So he should get 5, 5.5.
4, 5.5.
Well, a little bit bigger spread than you might expect. A 4 in there and also a 6, so 5 and 5.5. A couple of 4s in there, actually.
Well, he broke his knees right at the start, and he has a slight twist as he's going in. So the judges, that's why there's 7 judges. They're all looking at it from different angles.
Okay, Dorsey's classmate Pat Collins from Champaign Centennial.
He's doing a back 1.5 somersault pike. 2.4 difficulty.
Didn't quite get it turned around in time.
Yeah, didn't quite finish. He came in a little heavy. Doesn't look like he was able to get his arms over the top of his head. And when he hit the water with his shoulders leading the way, it sort of looks like a crash dive. He got up pretty well, little bend of his back, but his feet are up pretty high. As he comes out, his arms are going up, but he's real on an angle, so it makes a huge splash that the judges are looking at.
Marks between 3s and 4s. Here's Brian Hoke of Fremd.
Brian Hoke doing a back 1.5 somersault with 1.5 twist.
He travels it away from the board a little bit. He did get in the water, so it'll probably be a 4.5, 5 dive.
5,
And
4,
marks ranging from 3.5 to 5.
4,
A trio of 4s and a couple of 4.5s.
Adam Hanhart, 5134, for 1.5 somersault, 2 twist free, 2.6.
Adam Hanhart from Glenbrook North.
Final diver forward 1.5 somersault with 2 twists.
He lost his legs a little bit. He pulled them back in. It's a difficult dive of 2.6.
Marks come up, and he pulled 3 5s, a pair of 4.5s, a 3.5, and a 4.
3.5, 5, 4, 4.5.
Again, he looks pretty far back on the board, almost a foot back, so he's leaning forward, so he loses his height. He's lost his legs on the turn. He's a little low. That may have cost him the state championship.
David Hoffman, States.
David doing a back 1 somersault with 2.5 twists.
A little low, but he definitely gets it in the water.
Difficult dive at 2.7. And let's see what the judges thought of it. He looks up and sees 5s, a 5.5, a 4.5, and a 4.
5, 5.5, 4.5. This concludes the final.
You could see as he went underwater, his body was turned sideways, so that's probably why his scores were in the 4 and 4.5, 5 range.
Great finish to the diving round.
All right, when we come back on Fox Sports Chicago, we'll hand out the awards for diving and the 100-yard butterfly. Back at Evanston Township High School, the boys swimming and diving championship for the Illinois High School Association. We've just completed the diving portion. And here is your winner, Giovanni Rizzo of Naperville Central, his winning dive.
Giovanni finished with a beautiful inward 1.5 pike, got himself scores of 7, 7.5, and was enough to win the state diving championship.
There he is accepting the congratulations of his fellow competitors and gets his gold medal as the state diving champion. Didn't seem to be too terribly excited about the whole thing. He was rather blasé. Last year he finished 8th. The top 5 finishers from last year were seniors. They graduated. He moves from 8th to 1st.
He did a great job. You know, he was very solid all the way through. No highs, no lows, very consistent diving.
After 5 events, here are your team standings. Oak Park River Forest, no surprise, a 19.5-point lead over Marmion Academy. Homewood Flossmoor with 40, Waubonsee Valley with 33. St. Charles struggling a bit with just 27.
Well, it's still early because a lot of St. Charles swimmers are in the back half of the meet, so we should expect them to pick up.
Okay, here are your lane assignments for the consolation heat of the 100-yard butterfly, brought to you by the country companies. Alberto Aldana of Fenwick on 1, John Dennis of Hinsdale Central in lane 2, Eric Slough of Providence High School in lane 3. In lane 4, it's James Grave of West Warrenville South, John Nielsen of Barrington 6. 100-yard butterfly is the event. And jumping out to a good early lead is Eric Slough.
Well, we got the seniors against the underclassmen. Lanes 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be graduating seniors. Lanes 4, 5, and 6, all underclassmen. Let's see who has control.
John Dennis, the senior from Hinsdale Central, now edges in front of Slough as they make the turn after 50 yards.
Well, John had a great prelim yesterday. I believe he also finished well in the backstroke. And so we should see him a little bit later in the meet, but he is still opening up a pretty good lead at the 75-yard mark.
Dennis makes his final turn, trying to bring it home for Hinsdale Central. Alberto Aldana in lane 1, challenge now starting to fade. Dennis stretching for the wall, and he will touch first. Dennis touches in 52-57. Followed by Slough at 52.91. And James Graves at 52.95. So John Dennis, the senior from Hinsdale Central, very strong throughout, did not start the best, but he dominated for much of the race.
He maintained a very good pace, is even at the 50, started to open up a little bit of a lead at the 75. Managed to maintain. He's breathing every arm stroke, getting a lot of oxygen, a lot of kicking. Very strong kicker at the finish. He didn't take a breath his last 2 strokes into the wall.
Now ready for the championship finals. Tim Carlson, who had that outstanding individual medley in the middle in lane 3. Adam Kennedy, Homewood Flossmoor, lane 1. Lane 2, Steve North, St. Charles. Shane Wilden of St. Charles in lane 4. Watch out for him also. Brandon Johnson in lane 5. Matt Clay of Naperville North in lane 6. Lane 4, Carlson 3. The 2 swimmers to watch.
We also don't want to overlook Adam Kennedy, who is the state champion today in the 50-yard freestyle. And I tell you, watching Tim Carlson swim the first 100 yards of that individual medley, I'm impressed. I think we're going to see a great race out of him today.
Shane Wilden in lane 4, Tim Carlson in lane 3, neck and neck. Moving to the front now, Adam Kennedy. You said don't discount him, and we won't do that because he's swimming well right now. Tim Carlson regains a bit of the lead.
Shane Wilden looks very strong coming off the walls well. He's catching, Carlson catches him in between the walls. Wilden catches him at the first off the wall.
Carlson with a good strong turn and a good push off the wall. Here he comes down the stretch, challenged by Kennedy at the top of your screen in lane 1. Wilden comes up in lane 4, and it is Wilden who comes from behind in the last 10 yards to nip Carlson. 50.79 to 50.94. Finishing in 3rd, Brandon Johnson from Chicago Kenwood. But Shane Wilden with a great kick at the very end.
Great. Coming off every wall, he would open up a lead. When he came off the wall to open up the lead, Tim Carlson had a fight to catch him. You can see Carlson is just ahead of him going into the wall, but when they come off, Shane Wilden seems to have a much better streamlined push-off. He gets just slightly ahead of him on the finish. He's got a much better reach at the end. What a great race. Brandon Johnson was 7th last year. He's moved up to 3rd. A very strong finish for the Kenwood High School swimmer from Chicago.
So Shane Wilden, senior from St. Charles, is your winner in the 100-yard butterfly. Coming up, we'll get the awards for the 100-yard butterfly and move on to the 100-yard freestyle. It's next on Fox Sports Chicago. And with Tim Dowling, I'm Pete Pranica at Evanston Township High School. The broadcast rights for this event have been granted to Fox Sports Chicago and Intersport Television by the Illinois High School Association. Any reproduction or rebroadcast of this event without the expressed written consent of Fox Sports Chicago, Intersport, and the IHSA is prohibited. We take a look at the end of the 100-yard butterfly in sectional qualifying. Shane Wilden first, Tim Carlson second, and that's how they finish here.
That's how they finished. Shane Wilden, it's his only individual event today. He's on 3 relays. You can tell he's excited. He had a chance to shine, and he is beaming.
And he won it basically in the last 10 yards. He gets his medal from Isaac Marshall. He's been with the Chicago Public League Athletic Association for 30 years as he hands over the medal. And Shane Wilden, a senior, pumped, one of the St. Charles Saints. We move now to the 7th event of the day, the 100-yard freestyle. We begin with the consolation finals, and we take a look at your lane assignments brought to you by Country Companies Insurance. Scott Lang of Burlington Central in lane 1. Lane 2, Jim Larrick of Fenwick. Clint McHugh of Fremd in lane 3. Lane 4, Chris Camp of Eureka. Jeremy Evans in lane 5 from Normal Community. And Evanston Township's John Phillipsborn in lane 6. The state record in the 100-yard freestyle, 44.47 by Brian Kurz of Hinsdale South back in 1988.
This ought to be a great race. Chris Camp from Eureka in lane number 4 came back from a swim-off last night, had a great race in the 50. He seems to be very strong.
Scott Lang of Burlington Central at the top of your screen in lane 1 with a short lead. Jim Larrick closing in lane 2 as they make the turn. Starting on the mid part of the race.
John Phillipsborn from Evanston at the bottom of your screen in lane 6. He knows his pool. He's right with the leaders. Up at the top of your screen, Scott Lang from Burlington appears to be opening up a little bit of a lead, though.
Lang in front of Larrick. Lang to the wall, and he touches in first. That's 47.86. So a strong showing there. Clint McHugh finishing second, Jeremy Evans in third, and John Phillipsborn in the home pool finishing in a tie for fourth with Jim Larrick and Chris Camp finishing last in the consolation heat.
Scott did a great job coming off of that last turn. He's down there in the middle of his lane, gets his flip turn in, not a problem. He's opening up a little bit of a lead here, about half a body length. The race is for second, and you can see we had ties for fourth, second, third, fourth. Very little time separating second and fourth. 1/10 of a second.
And so with that, Scott Lang finishes 7th in the state. We move now to the championship finals. 100-yard freestyle is the event. Your Country Company's lane assignments. Henry Tabensky of Oak Park River Forest, lane 1. Matt Daggett, his teammate in lane 2. Andrew Schnell, keep an eye on him, the youngster from Marmion. He's in lane 3. Jeff Hall of Woodruff in 4. Anders Holm of Evanston Township in lane 5. Kurt Trebe of Waubonsee Valley is in lane 6. Andrew Schnell, a sophomore out of Marmion, was the top qualifier in the state with a time of 47.58.
It's going to be tough to quiet this crowd down for the start.
Also, Schnell was a freshman last year, very impressive showing at the state meet. He finished second with a time of 45.79.
Andrew was upset, if that's a possibility, in the 50 freestyle, but Adam Kennedy touched him out. This race he's going to have watching on both sides of him. Jeff Hall, who finished third last year to Andrew second, and Matt Daggett, lane number 2 from Oak Park, had a great race last night.
Shell asserting a bit of a lead here.
He seems to be going out much faster than he did last night.
And he is opening up a big lead over Jeff Hall in lane 4 toward the bottom of your screen, but right in the middle of your picture, the man in the middle, the man who is gunning to win the 100-yard freestyle. Andrew Schnell of Marmion Academy. He's making the drive, and he will win it. Andrew Schnell of Marmion Academy in 46:21.
What a great heat. Improvements by everybody.
Jeff Hall finishing second. Matt Daggett in third. Henry Tabensky, his teammate, in fourth, followed by Holm and Krieg.
Andy Schnell, what a difference between this and the 50. He's actually moving very fast. Seemed like in the 50, he thought it was a nice, easy race for him. He's got himself almost a body-length lead coming off the wall. He is turning over very fast. He's using his legs. He even got off the blocks one of the first in the start.
And he shaved about 4/10 of a second off his time from the preliminary round. So as you pointed out, improvement all the way around. So Andrew Schnell of Marmion Academy is your winner in the 100-yard freestyle event. We'll have the awards for the 100-yard freestyle. That'll be followed by the marathon, the 500-yard freestyle. That's coming next. And back in Evanston at the 100-yard freestyle, we saw a dominating performance by Andrew Schnell, just a sophomore. We'll probably see a lot more from him in the coming years.
Andrew is a great physical specimen for swimming. He's tall and he's strong. And he knows how to swim, obviously, by setting the first place time in the 100-yard freestyle. He opens up a nice lead, finishes very strong, doesn't take a breath, stretches into the wall. You feel sorry for Jeff Hall. Any other year, he might have had 2 state championships.
And you see a look there at Andrew Schnell as he receives his medal from Carolyn Joyce, the aquatics director here at Evanston Township High School. We move on now to a real Ironman event. A test of endurance. It's the 500-yard freestyle. Here are the country company's lane assignments. Jacob Wassinger of St. Charles in lane 1. Andy Grievers of Lake Forest in 2. In 3, Brady Nippenberg of Naperville Central. Kyle Capon of Naperville North in 4. Aaron Palmer of Guilford in 5. And Dave Plandowski of Lake Forest High School in lane 6. These are the gentlemen, excuse me, Tim, that finished qualified in places 7 through 12 in the preliminary round.
Okay, this is your 20-length race, 500 yards. The counters at the deep end of the pool, they're there to help the kids stay on pace, as well as help the officials keep track of where the swimmers are at. Some people think of this as a distance race where they just methodically move along. And I think you'll find that when you get the splits on these boys at every 100, that they're going extremely fast, especially to go 4:44. They're averaging times in the 57 100-yard pace time. Very fast swimming.
There you see Jacob Wassinger out of St. Charles. He is in lane 1. Kyle Capon of Naperville North is in lane 4. Those are your top 2 swimmers right now. And coming on in lane 5, Aaron Palmer and Dave Plandowski in lane 6. But your leader right now continues to be Jacob Wassinger in lane 1.
52.8 for the first 100 time for the splits. Very good pace. The boys want to try to get out fast, try to not get times up over 58 or 59 as they move along. A lot of them will have strategies where they go out a little fast. Some will go out a little slower and save themselves for the second half of the race.
Aaron Palmer in 5, Kyle Capon in 4. They are now keeping pace in the middle of your picture, as they've now completed 75 yards.
The next time we go down to the turning into the pool, we might keep an eye on what different counters are doing. The counters can use that device, that number, to help signal their swimmer what they're doing. They're like a coach on the sideline. They might hold the numbers upside down. They might swing them side to side. Whatever the case may be, it tells the swimmer where they are in their race.
Now Brady Nippenberg
in lane 3, picking up the pace a little bit, but down in lane 5, Aaron Palmer has moved out to a lead, and Jacob Wassinger, who had been doing well, falling off the pace a bit.
Aaron Palmer from Rockford comes from a long line history of distance swimmers in the Guilford area, so I'm sure that he knows what he's doing as far as pacing. Out at 2:18 for the first half, for the halfway mark, is a great time.
And he has got about a half a body length lead on Kyle Capon. And Capon trying to match him for stroke. Brady Nippenberg in lane 3 in the middle of your picture. He is about even with Capon.
This race, which side you breathe on becomes very important, because if you're always breathing away, you don't know where they're at. So Kyle Capon is going to be looking directly at Aaron Palmer during the last 25 yards of this race. Unfortunately, Aaron Palmer is going to be looking away from him, so they're going to be fighting without knowing.
And Aaron Palmer will be looking into lane 6, where Dave Plandowski has fallen significantly off the pace. But for right now, it's Aaron Palmer, the senior out of Rockford, Illinois, Guilford High School, who is in the lead, trailed closely by Kyle Capon in lane 4.
And Aaron is holding a slight lead. They're coming to the 400-yard mark. They're trying to have a time around 4:45, 4:44, so they have an idea of where they're at. And Palmer is at 4:45.5, so he's doing very well. He could very easily be in the 4:41, 4:42 range. His teammate encouraging him by moving the lane counter up and down. Now this is a gun lap, so the lead swimmer is going to get notified very shortly. You can hear it over the noise. 50 yards to go.
Aaron Palmer with a good turn.
Aaron sees his competition going down, but he'll be coming back flying.
The counters at the end of the pool put an orange placard in the pool, so they know this is the last 25. Aaron Palmer in the lead at the bottom of your screen in lane 5.
He's holding on to his lead. The race looks like it's going to be for second.
Kyle Capon will challenge, but he won't get there. Your winner is Aaron Palmer in lane 5 from Guilford High School in Rockford, Illinois. Finishing second, as we pointed out, was Kyle Capon. Third, Brady Nippenberg. Fourth, Andy Grievers. Fifth, Jacob Wassinger. And Dave Plandowski finishes in sixth for Lake Forest High School. So a real strong effort from Aaron Palmer. Paced himself nicely as we take a look at part of his winning 500-yard stroke.
Aaron knows where everybody is as he's going down. He can see how behind they are. When he comes off the wall, he sneaks a peek and sees that they're not into their turn yet. So at least he has an idea. Kyle is caning on him, but not enough time. Aaron Palmer had a great race.
So now we move to the championship finals. Tim Berry, last year a junior, now a senior. This race, almost his exclusive property. He will be in the middle of your picture in lane 3 as we set the lane assignments brought to you by the country companies. Matt Jungles of Marmion in lane 1, Dan Williams, Hinsdale Central lane 2, Tim Berry, we talked about in lane 3, Matt Malden of Nancy Valley 4, Tom Lockman, Champaign 5, Adam Reynolds in lane 6.
Well, this is going to be interesting because you have two swimmers that, even though we know Tim Berry is the class, you have Matt Jungles up in lane 1 and Matt Malding in lane 4, who both had an easy ride into the sectionals and an easy ride into the finals. So we'll see if they have any energy left over to give Tim Berry a race.
And as expected, Berry touches first after the first 50. He qualified first in the state, 4:38.18. Tom Lockman was the second qualifier, and he was 8+ seconds behind Berry. So Berry is definitely the dominant swimmer in this event. He maintains a lead in lane 1. Matt Jungles challenging a bit, but again, it is Berry by a body length.
Well, this is an interesting dilemma for Oak Park. if Tim Berry goes out after the record and he tires himself out, will he be able to help him on the relays? Or should he just swim this race to win it and save himself for possibly a state record in the 400 freestyle relay?
It'll be interesting to keep our eyes on the timer, but right now, Tim Berry is dusting the competition big time as he has widened his lead in the middle of your picture. Everybody else basically swimming for second place right now. And in lane 5, it's Tom Lockman, who is second in sectional qualifying. He is swimming well in lane 5.
A couple of the keys with Tim Berry is he swims very well, but he does the little things even better. If you watch this turn, when he comes off the wall, he's going to have his arms locked extremely tight over his head. He's going to come off with his toes pointed, and he's going to take advantage of the momentum he's gained by coming off the wall. He's gaining speed that way. He seems to have such an effortless stroke.
Another good turn, very methodical, very mechanical. And he has really widened his lead.
He's opened up the lead. His time is excellent. But it's a nice pace time. He's at about a 2:30, about a 4:30 pace, which is what he was at yesterday. He went out a little slower on the first 150 yards than he did yesterday. Let's see where he is at the 300, see if he has a chance to go after the record or not.
Way out in front of the field, Tom Lockman in lane 5 is second, followed by Matt Malding. But right now, it's Tim Berry's race, and it is a race against the clock more than it is against his fellow competitors for a state record. 4:25.54. Brian Gunn of Hinsdale Central said it. He said it back in 1989.
Well, he's not going nearly as fast as he did yesterday. He's about a second and a half to 2 seconds slower, which is obviously going to be good enough to win. So he may be conserving some of his energy for the relays later. But the race is coming down. Tom Lockman down in lane 5. He was ninth in this race last year, and he's having a very good race right now. Matt Malding in lane number 4, he was third last year. He swam in an early heat of the prelims yesterday before most of the people were paying attention, and he set a time of 4:40 that nobody else could touch. He ended up coming into this heat tonight second.
Berry is so impressive with that effortless stroke, and he stays right in the middle of his lane. You see some of the other swimmers veering just a little bit toward the lane rope, but Berry stays perfectly centered right between. Lockman and Malding in a duel for second in lanes 4 and 5.
Now we're coming down to the gun lap, so we'll see what Tim does for his last 50 yards. But as you say, the race between Matt Malding and Tom Lockman looks like it's going to be a really good one.
Berry gets the gun signifying the last 50 yards of the race. In the race for second, a dead heat, Lockman and Malding.
Lockman with a slight lead at his feet, but Matt Malding seems to be stretching out a little bit better. He may have a little more energy left at the very end.
Here comes Berry. The state record will not be broken, but he will win it in impressive fashion. Tim Berry, Oak Park River Forest touches first. Here's the drive for second. Lockman at the bottom of your screen and Malding. And it is Tom Lockman in second, edging out Malding by 12/100ths of a second. They are followed by Dan Williams in fourth, Adam Reynolds in fifth, and Matt Jungles of Marmion finishes sixth. So a dominating performance by Tim Berry, not a record-setting performance, but a strong performance.
It almost looked like Tim was starting to warm down the last 100 yards. He wasn't having his kick going quite as hard as he had. In fact, the last length, it looked like he was almost dragging his legs, just saving himself. I'm not going to get into his head or his coach's head, but it looks like he's thinking more towards the 400 free relay.
And we'll see the award presented to Tim Berry for his win in the 500-yard freestyle, and then we'll move on. The 200-yard freestyle relay is coming up next. IHSA Boys Swimming and Diving Championships on Fox Sports Chicago. Back at Evanston Township High School, we've just gotten through the 500-yard freestyle event. Tim Berry, a dominating performance from Oak Park River Forest.
He was outstanding. There you see he is being congratulated and gets his medal from the athletic director at Oak Park River Forest.
Okay, we move on now to the ninth event of the day, the 200-yard freestyle relay. This is the consolation.
Academy in Trier, Naperville North in Prospect lane 4, Oak Park Fenwick in lane 5, and Naperville Central in lane 6.
This is a great race that the High School Federation added a few years back. It's a sprint race, gives the kids a chance to really just get up and go. You've got Trip McMahon in lane number 2 for New Trier, and Tim Carlson from Naperville North in a slight lead.
Naperville North in the middle of your screen in lane 3. New Trier to the top of your picture and Mount Prospect below as they go 1, 2, 3.
Tim Widener from Prospect was a finalist in the 50 free, so you expect him in there. Mike Moyer and Jacob Schwarzen from New Trier.
Naperville North maintaining its lead on this, the third leg.
And it's Tony Kappa. And he looks like he's opening up a little bit of a lead. Bolton Green from New Trier, though, he's not going away easy.
Kappa maintaining the lead for Naperville North as they go to the anchor leg, and Kevin Earl, the senior, will anchor it for Naperville North.
It's Connor O'Brien in lane number 2. Patrick Kennedy from Loyola is chasing him down in lane number 1. And lane number 6, Brian O'Dowd from Naperville Central.
But it looks like it'll be Naperville North in the consolation of the 200-yard free relay. They take it in 1:27.84. Finishing second, New Trier, 1:28.49, followed by Loyola is third, Mount Prospect fourth. In a tie with Naperville Central and Oak Park Fenwick finishing in sixth. We take now a look at the team standings after 8 events. Oak Park River Forest, big lead, 109. Marmion Academy, 86.5. St. Charles at 55. Waubonsee Valley close on their heels. And Homewood Flossmoor with 51.
Yes, the race is still too close to tell for second and third, but Marmion is looking awful strong.
And Marmion Academy will have lane 1. Our lane assignments brought to you by Country Companies Insurance. Evanston in lane 2. Oak Park River Forest, your overall meet leader in 3. Homewood Flossmoor in lane 4. St. Charles in lane 5. Waubonsee Valley in lane 6. A very, very important race as far as team standings go. Oak Park River Forest maybe doesn't need to win it, Tim, but they certainly need to have a good showing.
Right, it's one of those races where you want to win, but you don't want to take a chance. If you take a chance, it can cost you 32 points. So you want to make sure you get in the water safe. That's what it does.
Again, Oak Park River Forest in lane 3 in the middle of your picture. Henry Kavensky swimming the first leg for the Huskies.
And you've got Adam Kennedy in lane number 4, the state champion in the 50. Leading off for them, Matt Munns for St. Charles in lane number 5.
St. Charles with the lead, Shane Wilden, who has already won a race today, leading in lane 4.
Homewood Flossmoor's Kent Izenga. He's starting to be chased down by lane 2, Evanston's David Scallender. And lane number 5 is Shane Wilden from St. Charles.
Wilden touches first, but it's pretty much anybody's race at this point in time. Now making a strong challenge, Evanston Township, so the home folks raise the roar here as they watch in lane 2, Alex Rocca.
Well, there are 5 teams, 6 teams that are dead even. Oak Park has been sitting on their starts, and they still have a lead.
Slight edge to Oak Park. They go to the anchor leg.
Henry Kavensky taking him into the first turn with about a half a body length lead. He's coming out with it. Will they chase him down?
Being challenged at the top of your screen by Marmion. A photo finish in the offing, and Oak Park touches first at 1:25.96. Marmion second, 1:26.30. Evanston checks in at third. St. Charles fourth. Homewood Flossmoor fifth, and Waubonsee Valley is sixth.
What a great race for Oak Park. They knew they just had to keep from getting disqualified. All they had to do was get in the water safe. Henry Tabinski opened up a lead right off the start. He held on to it. He was being chased down by Andrew Snell from Marmion, but Andrew was just an arm stroke late.
Needless to say, those are your winners. Oak Park River Forest.
Boy, Oak Park is happy.
And they extend their lead in the team standings into a commanding position. So Oak Park River Forest, more medals for the Huskies in the 200-yard freestyle relay. The 100-yard backstroke is next. A full house at Evanston Township High School watching a strong performance by Oak Park River Forest in the 200-yard freestyle relay. Yesterday they swim 126.03. They better it here.
Henry Tabinski finishing with a very strong last leg. They sit on the blocks and still win the race.
Mary Struckhoff, the Assistant Executive Director of the IHSA, responsible for boys and girls swimming and diving, making the awards. Oak Park now extends its lead. They lead Marmion 141 to 112 and a half. St. Charles currently in third with 77 points. As we move on now to the 10th event, the 100-yard backstroke, beginning with the consolation finals as you see St. Charles leaving the deck with medals in tow. In the consolation finals, your country company's lane assignments: Brian Miller of Burbank Revis in lane 1, Woodstock's John Borda in lane 2, Kyle Jackson of Normal University High School in lane 3, Kevin Pope of Centennial in lane 4, and Race Steinfurt from Lincoln in lane 5, and Peter Meese of Naperville Central in lane 6. Once again, this the consolation heat. These are the gentlemen who qualified for the finals in places 7 through 12. No matter how fast they swim in this heat, their official finish, 7th. No better.
Well, this is our only race where the swimmers do things backwards. They push off instead of diving forward. They do have the backstroke flags, which are 15 feet for the end wall, so they know about where they're at. They do get to roll over, but come back onto their backs.
Kevin Pope in lane 4 with a bit of a lead, getting close to the lane ropes. Lane 1, Brian Miller also swimming well. John Borda in lane 2, and lanes 1 through 4 practically even as they make the first turn.
Peter Meise from Naperville Central, he had a very good turn. He got in and out of the wall very quickly. As he comes down to the turn, we can see that he looks like he's right even with everybody, maybe even a little ahead.
Anybody's race at this point. Kevin Pope in lane 4. In lane 5, Ray Steinfurt of Lincoln. And your winner was Peter Meese as he came up on the outside in lane 6. Steinfurt comes in 2nd, Pope in 3rd, Jackson 4th, Borda 5th, and Miller 6th. Meese's winning time 53.75.
He snuck up on everybody, had a great race.
Now we move to the championship finals. As you see Meise getting his congratulations. In the championship finals, the lane assignments look this way, brought to you by the country companies. Kirk Zimke of Lockport in 1, John Dennis of Hinsdale Central in 2, Justin Nowidi of New Trier in 3, Matt Munns of St. Charles in 4, Dave Kimmerly of Lockport in 5, Tom Martinson of Fenwick is in lane 6. Nowadi last year a strong showing in the state meet, finishing 4th, the top sectional qualifier, and also the fastest in the preliminaries.
Now we've got 5 of the 6 swimmers in this heat, our medal winners from last year. They're also seniors. Tom Martinson down in the bottom and from Fenwick is the only
In lane number 2, John Dennis from Hinsdale Central finished 3rd last year. Lane 3, Justin Noida from New Trier finished 4th. Justin has a great shot of going after the record. His first 50 is usually his slow 50, and he picks up his pace on the second half.
With a slight lead. Rudy as he makes the turn after the first 50. The record he would be going for is Jay Glenn's record. He swam a 50.08 for Friend in 1997.
Well, Justin is half a second, or should be 5/100ths of a second ahead of yesterday, so he's a little slower than the record pace, but he's still out ahead of the field. John Dennis from Hinsdale Central is chasing him down, but it looks like Justin Noida from New Trier.
Noida touches first at 50.38. He's followed by Dennis at 51.15. Followed by Matt Munz is 3rd. Dave Kimmerly is 5th. Followed by Tom Martinson and Kirk Zimke of Lockport Township. So the Trevians pick up an event win here in the 100-yard backstroke. We'll get the awards for the 100-yard backstroke and then the 100-yard breaststroke event. That's all coming up next on Fox Sports Chicago. The Boys Swimming and Diving Championships for the IHSA in Evanston. Justin Noida. He had been here before in a number of events, Tim, but in the 100-yard backstroke, finally, as a senior, he brings it home a champion.
Well, Justin, he had a great turn and a great finish. What an ending to a great high school career. He's been in 8 championship finals over his career at New Trier, and in his last possible opportunity, he wins the state meet. What a great race for Justin.
And he looks up at the board. That is the epitome of a winning smile.
And they want to see him in Sydney. Looks like he's going to the Olympics.
Well, you keep on training, you never know what might happen. But he had a wonderful career for the Trevians as he wins the 100-yard backstroke in this, his senior season of competition.
Next event will be the 100-yard breaststroke consolation final.
As we prepare for the 100-yard breaststroke, we take a look at the team standings after 10 events. Oak Park River Forest up over Marmion Academy, 1 to 112.5. St. Charles moves up to 89. Waubonsee Valley at 72. Homewood Flossmoor in 5th, just 1 point behind. But it looks like it is the day of the Husky today.
Now Oak Park is holding on their lead. They have Nathaniel Blair, who will score a few points for him here. Sean Moody for St. Charles will help him out a little bit. We're setting up the trophy lineup.
And for the 100-yard breaststroke consolation, Matt Vituro of Libertyville in lane 1, Nathaniel Blair of Oak Park River Forest lane 2, Jacob Swarson of New Trier in lane 3, Sean Moody of St. Charles, James King, 100-yard breaststroke, and they are off and getting a good start. Jacob Swarson of New Trier.
Of all the strokes in swimming, breaststroke is the one where the coaches and the swimmers tinker with it as much as possible. You see swimmers with a very flat stroke, like in lane number 3, and then ones where the hands will start to come over the water in lane 4. You always have to find out what's best for the athlete.
Matt Vituro of Libertyville touches first after the first 50 yards.
On the bottom of your screen, lane 5, James Kuhn from Springfield, and 6, Zach Robinson from Sycamore. They seem to be hanging in there, but again, lane number 1, Matt Vituro from Libertyville. Looks like he's the leader.
James Kuhn from Springfield. Sean Moody from St. Charles in lane 4, making good turns. But Vituro is making a push here for the championship. Going to be close to the wall they come, and
thank God for timing systems.
Jacob Swarson of New Trier comes up first as he touches out James Kuhn, and Matt Duturo, who had led through much of the race. Swarson in 1 minute and 77/100ths. And he out-touches Kuhn, who comes in at 1 minute and 83/100ths. Duturo at 1 minute 90/100ths. Followed by Zach Robinson and Sean Muty and Nathaniel Blair. We move now to the championship round. Joey LaRoe of West Chicago in lane 1, Chris Meyer of Marmion in lane 2, Aaron McCracken of Naperville Central lane 3, Eugene Kim of Homewood Flossmoor in 4, Dan Knutson of St. Charles lane 5, Jared Rummel of Lake Forest in lane 6. Those assignments brought to you by the Country Companies. This is the championship final, the 100-yard breaststroke.
You have Chris Meyer in lane 2, was 8th last year, and Eugene Kim was 7th. Those are your only returning medal winners. So you have youth versus experience.
And McCracken and Kim in 3 and 4 respectively. Out in front, Kim now with a slight lead in lane 4 toward the bottom of your picture as they head toward the wall to complete the first 50 yards. But it's McCracken who touches first after 50.
McCracken got in. He's a little bit quicker, but Eugene has a much smoother underwater push-off, and he gets a little bit of a lead, and Aaron has to work a little harder to catch him. And they're touching about the same, but Eugene always comes up ahead.
Eugene Kim, Homewood Flossmoor in lane 4. In lane 3, Aaron McCracken from Naperville Central. Those two will vie for the top spot. Coming on McCracken. McCracken for the wall, and he touches first. McCracken in 57.49. Kim second, 57.81. Followed by Chris Meyer in third. Dan Knutson in fourth. Coming on McCracken. McCracken for the wall, and he touches first. McCracken in 57.49. Kim second, 57.81. Followed by Chris Meyer in third. Dan Knutson in fourth. Joey LaRoe in fifth. And Jared Rummel of Lake Forest comes up in sixth. But Aaron McCracken, strong challenge from Eugene Kim, but McCracken, the sophomore, your winner.
Well, Aaron looked very good all the way through that race. Stayed in control. Did not panic when he got behind.
So he betters not only his sectional time, but he also betters his qualifying time from the previous day as he brings home the medal for Naperville Central. We'll be back with the awards for the 100-yard breaststroke and the final event of the day, the 400-yard freestyle relay. That's all coming up next on Fox Sports Chicago. At Evanston Township High School, we're nearing the end of the state meet. We're through 11 events. The 100-yard breaststroke awards being presented right now by Joseph Clack from Deerfield. He's the meet referee and serves the IHSA as a member of the Boys and Girls Swimming and Diving Advisory Committee. Our winner, Aaron McCracken of Naperville Central. He withstood a strong challenge from Eugene Kim of Homewood Flossmoor, but McCracken too strong down the stretch.
Now Eugene gets great turns, but Aaron is just too fast in between the walls. And he was one excited boy. A state championship for a sophomore.
And you have a sense that he will be back standing on the podium more than once before he gets his diploma.
Yep. You're absolutely right on that.
Aaron McCracken, Naperville Central, your state champion in the 100-yard breaststroke. We come now to the final event of the afternoon, the 400-yard freestyle relay. As we look at the team standings, Oak Park River Forest, a commanding lead over Marmion Academy, 142 to 124.5. St. Charles has moved up into third, 102.
Homewood Flossmoor at 84, Waubonsee Valley at 72. Oak Park River Forest right now has it all but sewn up.
Well, it basically comes down to mathematics. As long as Oak Park does not disqualify, they can't lose a trophy.
We will begin first, however, with the consolation finals in the 400-yard freestyle relay. Your lane assignments brought to you by Country Companies Insurance. Hinsdale Central in 1, Mundelein in 2, Fenwick in lane 3. Lane 4 features New Trier, Lake Forest High School in lane 5, and Frem in lane number 6.
It seems like we've had outside smoke all day. Lane number 1, Hinsdale Central, Jeff Ross taking out a lead right off the bat.
Also working hard, New Trier in lane 4, gunning for the lead as well, but Hinsdale Central maintains a lead.
That's Trip McMahon for New Trier in lane number 4. And again, we're looking at Jeff Ross up in lane number 1. Lane number 2 starting to catch is Chris Jasinski from Mundelein. Coming down to the exchange.
Jeff Ross still maintaining the lead.
Justin Nwida, who just won the backstroke, takes off for New Trier. For Hinsdale Central, you have John Dennis, who came in second in that event. Little grudge match right here.
And Nwida turns well and extends the lead for the Trevians.
Justin's got a great turnover, it's strong leg kick, driving him forward. Good streamlined position, doesn't take a breath out of the turn. Again, he's doing everything right now.
Perhaps swimming with a bit of adrenaline as he extends the lead for New Trier. Hinsdale Central still running in second place. But Nwida lengthening the lead for New Trier.
New Trier is going to be handing it off to Ryan Foley in lane number 4, and then it's going to be a horse race after that. Lane number 2, Mundelein. We now see Rick Schusler in the water, lane 2. Lane 3, Oak Park Fenwick is Tom Martinson.
Ryan Foley continuing to extend the lead for New Trier.
But this is their weak link, I guess, if there is such a thing, and Ryan is doing an outstanding job right now. They've got a very strong freshman, Tom Hayden, who follows this freshman, Ryan Foley, as their anchor.
So 2 seniors and 2 freshmen for the Trevians.
Okay, lane number 3, Tom Martinson is starting to close the gap a little bit. We'll see if Tom Hayden can hold them off.
Tom Hayden, the freshman, first in the water in lane 4 for New Trier. Trying to hang on to the lead in this, the consolation final of 400-yard freestyle relay.
Lane number 1, you got Taylor Vaughn for Hinsdale Central. 2 is Justin Mathias, one of the sprinters in lane number 2. See if he can pick up any ground. But still, we've got Tom Hayden still with almost a body length lead.
Hayden not swimming like a freshman, swimming like an upperclassman. He's got it cooking as he turns for the last 25 yards. The challenge coming from Oak Park Fenwick.
Matt Stock trying to chase him down.
But he will not. Hayden touches first for New Trier in lane 4, finishing second Fenwick, third Mundelein, fourth Hinsdale. In 5th place, it's Lake Forest, and Frem comes up in 6th. I think you really have to be impressed with what New Trier was able to do with their freshmen in that race.
The boys did a great job. You know, they've now tasted winning a medal at the state meet. They're going to come back next year and be hungry for individual medals.
So now we move, or before actually we move to the championship race, let's take another look at New Trier.
Tom Hayden has got a body to a body and a half lead going into this last turn. He is being chased down, though. If this race went another 50 yards, I think Matt Stock might have been able to catch him. He's brought it down to just a half a body length. 2 strokes. And Hayden held on.
So now we move to the championship race in the 400-yard freestyle relay. This is an Oak Park specialty. They were the top qualifier in sectional. They were the top qualifier in the prelims. Here are your lane assignments brought to you by Country Companies Insurance. Naperville North in 1, St. Charles in 2, Oak Park River Forest in 3. All they have to do is just get in the water safely. Marmion Academy currently in 2nd place. They're in lane 4. Evanston Township, the hometown team, in lane 5. And Waubonsee Valley is in lane 6.
Well, we talked about their 200 free relay just getting in the water safely, and they went and won the race. We're looking at a team that is only about 3/10 away from setting a state record. Having that state championship trophy with the state record would probably go down much easier.
They missed the record yesterday in the preliminaries by 31/100ths of a second. That record held by St. Charles in the set 1985.
Mr. Starter.
Well, we're starting off with Henry Dubinsky from Oak Park. We should see some challenges from Anders Holman, Evanston in lane 5, and Tim Carlson from Naperville in lane number 1. They're all good sprinters. So the first 100 should be very close.
And Naperville North with just a touch of a lead by about half a body length as they finish the first 50 yards.
Nobody's going to run away from anybody on the first 100. Tim Carlson, we already know that he won one race today, came in second in another, and he's giving his team a little bit of a lead. Mike Moyer is going to be following him into the water.
And Carlson touches first for Naperville North as they maintain a lead.
In lane number 1, you have Mike Moyer. 2 for St. Charles is Shane Wilden. 3 is Oak Park's Jamie Daggett. 4 is Marmion, Tom Lowenthal. 5 is Alex Roca from Evanston. In lane 6, Brian Roskins from Waubonsee Valley. Jamie Daggett has just destroyed the field.
Jamie Daggett has provided a big lift for the Huskies. You can hear their fans going crazy as Daggett now extending the Husky lead in lane 3 in the middle of your picture as he's more than halfway through his leg.
Well, and the funny part is the next 2 swimmers are just as fast. It's going to take something to catch them. Matt Daggett ready to go.
Matt Daggett first in the pool on the 3rd leg. Oak Park River Forest, and Daggett's got it stuck on automatic, and he is stepping out in fine fashion.
Jamie Daggett brought him in 3/10 of a second faster than last night, which puts him extremely close to the state record pace.
1/100th off the pace.
Lane number 2 is Jacob Wazinger from St. Charles, and lane 4 is Chris Meyer from Marmion.
Matt Daggett digging for it, turning on the final 25 of his leg. The Husky fans smelling not only a state championship, but perhaps a state record.
I guess if you have to put Tim Berry on the end of your relay, you'd do it, huh?
Berry, Mr. Freestyle in this meet, gets off to a huge start and a huge lead as Oak Park is going to put a little whipped cream on this Sunday of the state championship.
They are right now 1/10 of a second behind. If Tim Berry could do what he did yesterday and maybe just a little better, they will set the state record. Andy Snell in lane number 4 for Marmion is going to try to chase him down, but I think the race is between Scott Muddy of St. Charles and Andy for second because Tim Berry is walking home. His state record time of 3:06:32.
Berry to the wall.
3:06:19. I guess you call that an exclamation point.
Exactly. We had talked about during the break, no record set during today's competition, so we wait till the last event. Oak Park River Forest wins the state title. They win the final event in state record time 3:06:19. Marmion comes in second at 3:09:75. St. Charles in 3rd. Evanston Township in 4th. Naperville North in 5th. And Waubonsee Valley comes in 6th. Oak Park River Forest. From the very first race to the very last race today,
They absolutely dominated the field throughout, and even when we thought they might take it easy in some events just to pick up the points, they didn't need to really go pedal to the metal. They still pulled out victories, and they punctuate their effort this afternoon with a tremendous effort in the 400-yard freestyle relay, a state record time, 3:06.19. Once again, that eclipses St. Charles's record of 3:06.32. That was set back in 1985, so that record has stood a fairly long time.
Right. Well, it's great to watch a team that's so well disciplined. They sat on the blocks. They didn't take chances on their starts. I mean, they didn't sit back and wait, but they are so well disciplined that their takeoffs were perfect. And you have four good swimmers, four swimmers who have been on the podium all day today, getting individual trophies. They just did an outstanding job. I mean, Tim Berry, 4 state championships, 2 individual, 2 relays, 1 state record, and then, of course, 1 championship trophy.
Well, a state championship, state record-setting performance from Oak Park River Forest. We will come back with our final comments on the 1998 Swimming and Diving Championships after this on Fox Sports Chicago. Back at Evanston Township High School, Oak Park River Forest, one of the happy parents celebrating a state title for the Huskies, as we remind you that the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper network are the official newspapers of the IHSA state championships. You can call them dominating, you can call them fast, but whatever you call Oak Park River Forest, 1998 boys swimming and diving champions.
Well, they looked so good swimming the 400 freestyle relay. It was never a doubt. They knew that all they had to do was get into the water, not get disqualified, but that wasn't their motto. They wanted to go for everything. I guess wearing those military fatigues, they were going for the gusto.
Well, I think that says an awful lot about them as a team. It says something about the heart of a champion, that you're presented with an opportunity, and here they had the opportunity to not only win the state title, but also to set a state record. And it is our Pepsi race of the day, the 400-yard freestyle relay, last race of the day, and bringing it home, Tim Berry, the senior.
Tim Berry did the last part of the work, but you can't forget Matt Daggett, Jamie Daggett, and Henry Dubinsky. Without those 3 to give him the lead, Tim Berry wouldn't have been where he was. He did a great job. What a great race. And they set a state record, the only one of the day. Congratulations.
3:06.19 the time for the Huskies in that race. That's your Pepsi race of the day. Your final standings: Oak Park River Forest 174. They beat out Marmion Academy that had 150.5. St. Charles third with 126. Waubonsee Valley fourth with 90. And Homewood Flossmoor with 84 points, finishing in 5th place. A tremendous display of swimming, guts, and speed on the part of Oak Park River Forest as they take the 1998 championship. They do it in style. No one is safe from a trip to the pool when you win a state title.
Well, you know, the funny part is the trophy is dry. The superintendent is wet, but the trophy's dry.
And that trophy will have a place of honor in the Husky trophy case. Last year, disappointment at the very end, but they make up for it this weekend, taking home the 1998 title. Tim Berry, the star for the Huskies, but one of many. Berry pulling in 4 state championships today. Not bad for a day's work.
Well, you know, they were a team on a mission. They had some unfortunate happenings at the end of last season. They came back this year. They swam well all year. They ended up winning the state championship, not just by a little bit, but they were dominating all the way through.
There was some talk that this team might score 180 points. That's a very, very difficult thing to do. There was some talk about that. 174 obviously isn't 180, but they want it going away.
Yes, that's 174, 180. Those are dominating numbers. That means you really did a great job. You got swimmers into every possible race.
Hats off also to the fans of Oak Park River Forest. They showed up in their orange t-shirts. They were loud, they were strong, and they are being rewarded, and a touching moment for the parents as they see their sons raise a state championship trophy here at Evanston Township High School.
And the trophy is just about to get its dunking. They brought it down to shallow water, getting their team picture taken with it. Every one of those swimmers will have their name engraved on the front plate, and that will be in the hallway at Oak Park River Forest from now on, and they can go back on their 25th reunion and they'll see their names.
And this really, Tim, is what you planned for. This is what you trained for. When you open up practice at the beginning of the season, you say, this is where we want to be. And I think that a lot of coaches around the state are going to take this tape and they're going to say, guys, when we open practice, when I want you to swim more laps or lift more weights or do more stretching, this is why I want you to do that, because if you work hard enough, you can have a moment just like this.
Absolutely. You know, it's probably March 2nd. They are going to, last year on March 2nd, I would bet that Oak Park sat down and said, we're going to win next year. And they made their year-long plan.
Superintendent drying himself a little bit. The celebration continues unabated for the Huskies. Their fans are still here. They're very, very excited. Also, the cadets from Marmion Academy performed very, very well. Will almost be kind of a footnote in that the Huskies won by so much, but 150.5 point showing, very, very respectable. And they were strong in a lot of different events. And I think that as we look to next season, they would have to be a factor next year.
Yes, Bill Schultz from Marmion did a great job of bringing the team along. He's got a tremendous base to start with. You get a swimmer like Andy Schnell, who you can build around, who's going to just motivate the other swimmers. He's going to go back with his state championship medal in the 100 freestyle and show the kids, hey, I can do it. Let's get some more of you out here. Get 4 or 5 next year, and maybe the year after you have 8 or 9, and then you have a state championship team.
Right now, you have a chorus for Oak Park River Forest as they're going to make their way back to the deep end of the pool. I think the celebration winding down just a little bit. There's the trophy. It's got the hat on it. Also want to take a moment here, Tim, to thank the IHSA for all their support. Mary Strunkoff, the Assistant Executive Director, making our jobs a lot easier. A special tip of the hat to the folks who work with the IHSA.org website. They have been absolutely unbelievable. You dial them up and you have results immediately. Last night I wasn't able to make the preliminaries. I'm dialing up the results. It's a lot easier to do your research, and they really stay on top of what's going on in all areas of the IHSA. They do a wonderful job, so I would like to extend thanks to them.
Okay, one last group we'd like to thank before we shut down tonight are the officials. Joe Pleck, our meet referee, Charlie McCarthy, the coordinator of officials, Craig Carlson, our starter, Mindy Kunos, who is a diving referee, Al Wenke, head timer, and Perry Kobakas, who is our head finish judge. The men and ladies in white who did this job as volunteers.
And they did it perfectly. For my partner, Tim Dowling, and our entire crew, I'm Pete Pranica saying so long from Evanston Township High School. You've been watching the 1998 Boys Swimming and Diving Championships, where this afternoon, the Huskies of Oak Park River Forest take top honors for the state of Illinois. The proceeding has been an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Chicago and Intersport Television.